Hello everyone, my name is TreeBurgers. Welcome back to Crossout. Today we have a serious subject to talk about because I've done a thing and I don't know how you guys are gonna feel about it. Before we do that though, thank you so much for the immense support on the channel. I think it's 2 weeks ago that I asked you guys to subscribe because we almost hit 8,000 subscribers. Well, fast forward time, we've played a bunch of Among Us with a bunch of good people and the channel is literally on the verge of hitting 10,000 subscribers, which is one of the huge milestones that I've always had for this channel. So if you're not subscribed yet and you enjoy the content, just down below this video you can subscribe and you can hit the bell icon as well so you will always get notified as soon as I upload new content. Well, let's get back to what we kind of had to talk about. The Mastodons are sadly no longer in my possession. I just cannot justify having a weapon that is currently 18,000 coins in my inventory that just does absolutely no good at all. So I swapped them out for Typhoons and got myself some Typhoons for 13,000 coins each. Made a nice buck off of trading those out, or not really. I think I kind of cut it even because I crafted most of the resources that I needed for the Mastodons, but I want to just do this video to play a little bit of Typhoons and see what they can do, and also talk a little bit about why I think the Mastodon is not really worth it and justifying the price tag that it has at the moment. So let's get into the games and let's talk about it. So let's start with the most obvious thing. Why do I not believe that the Mastodon, sorry, is worth keeping at all? Well, that was a damn good hit. I mean, the weapon just comes with so many downsides and so few upsides. Like it's a fun weapon and all, it's a massive weapon, but for me personally, I cannot justify having an item in my inventory that is performing at the same level as its legendary counterpart does. It's so much more heavy, it's so bulky and awkward to build around, and it's just all in all a weapon that is too much of a hit or miss. It's a funny weapon for PvP, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, all of these weapons that we see here are, when it comes to relics, are weapons that in my opinion should be able to perform at a top tier clan wars level. You could probably also make it work somehow, but it's just a weapon that in my opinion depends so much on your teammates. Did you lose a sculpting there finally? No, you still didn't. Well, that's a big rip. And I just don't feel like the Mastodon cuts it for something like the Typhoon, for example. So the reason, my main reason for selling them is simply just because they're gonna, I think at least that's my theory, they're gonna hit a level next to the Typhoons when it comes to the price tag at some point. The weapon is like super hype right now because it's a new weapon, so a lot of people will want to get their hands on it to be able to play it, which is the main reason that I feel like the weapon is so expensive right now. But regarding an actual, like, what do you say, like regarding the actual value of the item, if you look at the price compared to what it can do, I just don't feel like those two correlate very, very well. Are you pointing up now? Yes, you are. That's good. Oh crap, you can still shoot a bit. You just get that shot in underneath you. Ooh, that's very good. I don't want him to take off my last hover there though. I hate for that to happen. Oh no, turn around, don't lose your guns, crap. So yeah, from an economic perspective, I don't see any reason to keep them because I'm quite sure that they're gonna drop. But from a gameplay perspective, the weapon has a bunch of downsides to it that I just simply do not understand how they even made it into the game, to be quite honest with you. We have a couple of weapons that you can charge and then you can shoot, and that's something like the assembler, for example. If you start charging the assembler, you can do that even though the weapon is blocked, and if you then are still blocked when the weapon is, when you let go and you want to fire, well then the weapon just simply don't shoot, which is the functionality of the assembler. The Mastodon comes with two different modes though. You can either just click and shoot, or you can also just charge it and shoot. The downside to this though is because the gun has a charging phase, also means that whenever the weapon is blocked, well then you'll still be able to shoot, and this will put the weapon on a cooldown. Look at my Typhoons right now. They're blocked, so I cannot shoot, and the weapon will not go on a cooldown. They can still fire up here. That does not count for the Mastodon. The Mastodon will at any time go on a cooldown, even though the weapon is blocked. This means that if you fail your shot. Oh, great. He can just push me. That's awesome. There we go. The entire team is dead, by the way, so this one is a loss as well. So let's just continue the debate when we get to the next game, because this is quite literally terrible. There we go. We're still alive, though. How on earth? I need someone to explain to me how he did not lose a gun there. Because I don't get it. Okay, they capped. Well, rip. Well, as I was saying, with the guns not being able to shoot, I find that very, very problematic. Because even though you just want to click and shoot like you would otherwise do with your Typhoons, for example, Jesus Christ, get hammered from the beginning here, then you still go on a cooldown and then you won't be able to shoot your guns. That is, in my opinion, just a massive flaw in the gun. Because no other turret cannon does that, no other turret cannon has ever done that, no fixed angle cannon does that, but just because they added that separate firing mode, if you hold down the button, well then you're punished for it, even if your guns are blocked for the brief second that you click your weapon. And like I said, that is not the functionality of any other gun in the game when it comes to cannons, so I do not see how it's relevant to have one turret cannon that then does it. Even if this was then fine, the gun comes with another flaw, which is the fact that even if the gun is not blocked, and I'll show you a couple clips here just so you know what I mean, then the gun will still not fire.
Right, look at this, I'm looking at FIFA. The barrel is not obstructed, look at it.
Ouch.
And that I actually have, gun angles, you can see that, right?
Yeah.
Alright, look at this. Bam, gun's going cool.
I had a session, a Clan Wars run, a couple in the weekend where basically I was playing the Mastodon and my guns were clearly not blocked, as you could see from that clip, but still the gun somehow managed to just not fire. I even took this, like, why is he fucking face hugging that dude? I cannot hit him if you do that, homie. All right, fine, let's just go for someone else then. He doesn't want our help. And that's just, yeah, it's. They should have thought of this. They honestly should have thought of this. So it's just another flaw that adds on to the weapon, and then adding up to the third issue with the weapon, in my opinion, the fact that the weapon is just all together. I mean, this dude just keeps on pushing that homie. Oh, why don't I use this? I have that for a reason. I'm so confused right now. It's so hard to talk and play at the same time. There. Decent hit there. He got out Jenny though. That's not too good. What is it with these teams? They're all just dying. Oh well. The third aspect of the gun is the overall sort of just the stats and the builds of choice. So basically the game mechanic part of the weapon that we're not really in. We can't really do anything about it, but just the way that you have to play the weapon if you want to play it, which also is kind of an issue to the weapon. Oops, did not hit my shot there. That's the Hurricane guy. Let's go get our revenge on him, because honestly he annoys me a lot. There we go, perfect. Some damage in onto him. Where is the second Hurricane? I don't see it. I feel like my build is a bit heavy right now. There we go, good cabin hit. I'll take that. Oh, hello. What? How did I miss that shot? I'm terrible. There we go, perfect. Get that one gun, get that one gun. I cannot steer this build. What am I doing? I'm choking so hard right now. Please don't do that. Okay, I died. That was freaking terrible. Do I just sell the Typhoons as well? Now, as I told you already, the gun is just absurdly huge, and it's heavy, and it's a bit awkward to build around. So all that added up just kind of makes the gun hard to make a proper build with. The main weapon or the main movement part of choice at the moment for higher tier Clan Wars is still, oops, in my opinion, hovers, for the basic fact that you get to strafe, you get to move fast, you get to kite, you get to do all of the fun stuff. The most obvious thing to put the Mastodons on, though, would either be like the most obvious, which are wheels, and the second most obvious choice, in my opinion at least, probably Bigfoot wheels. Or not wheels, sorry, legs or wheels. So the very, very most obvious choice would be legs, either big rims or ML200s. Now, both of those choices will give you some downside. The main downside being that you'll be very slow. Now, anytime you're slow, you'll also be just super easy to kite for hovers, and you'll be super easy to deal with for melees. The new Relic Spark, which is, you know, not really anything else but just the old Spark before it had its perk reworked, is a huge counter to spiders in general, because it will render you close to useless. What is it with all of these sculpts? There's just scorpions all over the place here. Holy crap. And Helios as well. I don't know what is up with the teams that we're getting at the moment, but they're literally dead in a freaking second. Oh, that was terrible. Oh, and there's another scorpion. This is actually insane. Jesus Christ. I literally get, like, look at the teams. Look at this. Dead. And they're just all alive. Well, how beautiful, eh? Yeah, so about the cannon. I never even realized just how many people actually play Scorpions. Jesus Christ, that was a lot of them. We have all the Breaker Wedges, they have all the Scorpions. Well, it's what it is. But as I was saying, with the change to the melees that they have been making for such a long time, I don't see legs being viable at all at higher tier. They haven't been for some time. But if you're trying to make any sort of a counterplay to melees with a spider, you're going to get yourself wedged, and then you're going to be sitting there and be wedged for the longest time. And they're going to be under you, and especially with this proposed changes to the wedge, it's only going to be worse, because you wedge someone and then you're going to be slowed, so it's going to be so easy for you to just keep him underneath you or above you, so you don't really get targeted. It's going to be so much easier now with the wedge changes. At least that's the sort of first testing that I've done, and also why I haven't really done a video on the test server, because I don't see it bringing anything new. So that leaves legs out of the way. The situation with the wheels are somewhat the same as they are with legs. Melees are going to be having a fun time countering you. The flash will slow you down immensely. Okay, I thought he was there. And the wheels or the melees will just kind of, you know, just plow through your build all together while you're trying to turn around and shoot, because you want that rotation base as well when you have the Mastodons, because the Mastodon rotates very slowly around the build. The weapon rotation speed is just by default super slow. Even the bots are using scopes against me. I don't like that. So they're just going to kite you around while you're on your wheels trying to find a good angle to shoot the enemy, basically. Now, then what do we have left? Then we have the hovers left, because they will give you the rotation that you need in order to effectively kite around those melees. But the cannon is literally 3 tons per cannon. So the only option you will have is super heavy hovers. And super heavy hovers... What are you now? You're a Reaper guy. Kind of just want some distance on you here before we shoot. Perfect. There we go. We might actually go ahead and win a game for once. But the hovers are going to be near impossible to build, because either you're going to be cannons and a cabin and nothing else. I thought he was there. Or you're going to have to build like a super heavy hover with something like the cohort cabin or the echo cabin, which I've seen most of the builds with at the moment. Those hovers are just so super heavy. So again, not going to be... You're shooting at me. Why are you shooting at me? Not going to be super ideal for most situations, at least with the game as it is right now. Heavy hovers can, of course, still do work. They definitely can, but I just personally really favor these quicker, more nimble hovers, because they're so much easier to deal with the melees with. So that's just sort of why I don't really see any movement part being appropriate for the cannon as it is right now. And all that combined together is just many reasons for me not wanting to keep the weapon, and honestly neither should you. I just don't see how it's worth it when you have so many other options. And it's a shame. It's a shame, because the weapon definitely brought one of those a little bit more unique weapons to the game, which relics were always meant to be, especially when we just get a reskin spark. Then it's even more nice to see a new and sort of experimental weapon, which the Mastodon was. Hopefully they'll change it. I don't know. So just to summarize, the weapon doesn't really do a lot. The damage is bad. The weapon functionality is terrible. It doesn't shoot properly. The weapon is just big, bulky, and weird to build around. It doesn't really suit on any of the meta builds that we have at the moment. It doesn't really fit into the melee meta. It's just not justified to play overall. And I believe that once people really get the, realize this, once the hype of a new relic dies down, then I do believe that we're going to see the weapon drop to way lower than the price tag is right now. It's a funny PvP weapon, and we've had plenty of fun brawling with it. And it brings a lot of funny moments to it as well, but it's just not a competitive weapon. And at the end of the day, I think relics are, for the most part, going to be judged on this. Once again, the hype sort of dies down about it being a new relic. So this is my thoughts on it. Please do let me know what you guys think about the weapon, and drop a comment down below with your thoughts on it and your thoughts on my thoughts. Maybe, if you agree, if you disagree, please do share. Anyways, thank you so much for watching and have fun until the next one. Bye bye.